It starts with Israel attacking Iran. Now, this hasn't happened yet. There have been a number of indications that there are forces which are trying to push this into happening. You've only got to follow the news for the last 2 years to realize that the public is being prepared for a justification for this kind of thing. Iran is being set up as being the bad guys that deserve something to happen to them, and so on and so forth. Now, that's going to be the start of what is like the opening gambit in a big chess game. And the plan is to provoke Iran or China to retaliate. And all of this is intended because it's all right with these controlling forces that Iran has nuclear weapons, because they want them to be used. The plan is for either Iran or for China to retaliate after Iran is struck with a nuclear weapon. At that point, there will be a limited nuclear exchange in the Middle East, followed by a ceasefire. He heard this being planned in this meeting. This is being choreographed. It's like the script for a movie. This is exactly what's intended to happen.
Colonel Douglas Macgregor joins us now for our weighing in on all of this, to make sense of what's happening in the world as Iran has now fired back, struck targets. We knew that this was coming. It didn't take 2 months for that to happen. Like the last time, Iran waited 2 months before this attack. It was almost immediate. Colonel Douglas Macgregor, great to see you. Thank you for jumping on with us today on this emergency broadcast. How are you?
Good.
What do you make of, first of all, maybe you can sort of paint a picture on exactly what happened here. How did this happen? And then what happens next?
Well, I don't know if you saw the tweet, or X as we call it right now, that I sent out. But
yes,
I think we
brilliant.
we need to understand that's essentially what's happened in a nutshell. First of all, President Trump, whether he admits to it or not, has made us a co-belligerent. He's essentially admitted by his actions and some of his words that we were in on this from the very beginning. And this is really disturbing, because from this point forward, I don't think anything we say, anything this government says, is going to be taken seriously by anyone in Moscow or Beijing or Tehran or Ankara or anywhere else. And that's the worst part, because clearly he helped to lull the Iranians into a false sense of security and set them up for this disastrous attack. So that's one thing. So the other thing is that short run, everybody's running around in Israel and declaring victory. Israel's supporters, I should say, their paid agents in the United States are supporting or are, telling everybody how happy they are. But in truth, this looks an awful lot like an Iranian Pearl Harbor to me. And nobody here today remembers, I was born shortly afterwards in 1953, but the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they sank some ships, and then they too celebrated and sailed home. It didn't work out very well for them. And I think the Israelis are in a similar position. The Japanese could have landed and seized those Hawaiian Islands, and then it would have been hell for us to get them back. It would have taken at least 2 years. Who knows what might have happened? Fortunately, they didn't do that. The difference is that Israel cannot consolidate its victory over Iran. But they're assuming that they'll have help from us, that we will jump in with both feet and rescue them. In the meantime, the Iranians are firing all of their older missiles. And by older missiles, I mean old technology. And the old technology is being shot down, which is the goal. They want the Israelis to waste all of their inventory on these old missiles before they start using the really high-end, devastating material. So I think this is just the beginning. The other part of this is that we're now going to see the rest of the world sort of link arms around Iran. Because if you're sitting in Moscow or Beijing or Ankara or anywhere else, and you see what's happening to Iran, you say, well, look, if we don't stand by these people, inevitably we'll be next. We'll just be one more dead name on the list like Gaddafi. So I think all in all, this is a catastrophe for Israel. But in the meantime, it looks wonderful for Israel, or at least that's what their supporters and agents in the United States want everybody to think.
2 Ezra 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof. from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join the battle with them, and shall waste and portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the dragons have upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and kept silent through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their hosts shall be fear and dread, and strife among their kings. Behold, the clouds from the east, from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own stars, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and the dung of man upon the camel hoofs. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall rise from the east, and shall open it, and the clouds which he raised upon in wrath, and the stars strive to cause fear towards the east and west wind shall be destroyed. The great and multitude clouds shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the stars, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell there, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star, fire and hail and flying sword and many water, that all field may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the woods and grass of the meadows, and their corn. And they shall go steadfast unto Babylon, and make her afraid.